Hello, and welcome to Silicon Valley Girls Chat Over Tea. I'm Gloria.
And I'm Rosetta.
And always, in the spirit of love and kindness, we welcome you to our chat. We want you to come with us on this journey. Open up to the possibilities and the perspective. Because, everything in life is a choice. And no choices are necessarily all good, and no choices are all bad. It's just a choice.
Yes, it is. All right, everyone. We got that taken care of.
Yes, something different.
Yep. Hello, and thank you, everyone, for returning. If you are returning supporter of our channel, which we love.
Yes.
And if you're new, welcome.
Welcome.
Welcome. And we just want to quickly, the rules and what we're going to ask you, the routine.
That's
if you
right.
like our chats, we would love it if you would show us your support by hitting the thumb icon. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the bell notification.
Peace on earth. Peace on
And hitting
earth.
that bell notification means that you'll be notified as soon as you can watch our chats.
Yes. That's important.
I know everybody wants to hurry up and watch our chats.
Yes, because we always have something good to say.
Yes. All right, we love our teas, and today we are drinking a great one, which we've done before,
Yes.
but we just love it. Organic India, and the flavor is Tulsi lemon ginger. Very good. The ingredients here are proprietary organic blend, organic ginger, organic Tulsi holy basil blend, holy basil, what does it say there? I don't even have I don't know. You read it. Holy basil something or other.
Okay. Holy basil, which is cumin.
Oh, okay. There you
go. It's like Krisha and Rama variety leaves. So it's a basil combination. And then East Indian basil. And of course, organic lemongrass leaf, which gives the most, this is very, too bad we don't have smell vision because it's very, very
so excited.
aromatic.
I gotta open up my lid. Yeah,
I love to smell the tea
smell
bag.
that again.
Yes.
Yep, we do
All right.
like it a lot.
Yes.
Gonna wake it up some,
a little bit.
have a little another smell. And I'm gonna drink it. I love it.
Cheers.
Oh, there. Sorry, I nearly forgot the
Cheers.
cheers. Cheers.
The only thing that would make this better would to be in a beautiful log cabin with a nice big fireplace, snowing outside.
Oh no. What would be better for me is to be sitting and looking out at the lovely ocean on the beach. That was what I would like. In an indoor conservatory, that's what I would like.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, just looking out there with the
Hot
ocean.
and cold views.
I'm never a cold person. I like the sun, the hot weather.
I love the cold weather. They always say opposites attract. So, as always, when we get ready to get into the space, our thoughts and prayers go out to the universe. There's so much going on in the world today, and we want to set a space and have the tone of love, honor, respect. And as we go on this little chat today, and we hope you will stay for the entire thing with us, we hope that you will have some wonderful aha moments, and you will also think about the blessings. So before we get too deep into this, we want to acknowledge Reverend Cecil Williams. He was the minister of Glide Church in San Francisco, and he passed away on Monday at the beautiful age of 94. When I was a child and you would go to church, part of the little welcome process used to be come as you are.
Right.
Bring your tired, your sick, whatever. Well, at Glide, it is a true statement. He opened the church up because he was never afraid of politicians or, social issues or anything like that. He was there to support homelessness, gay rights. If people needed food, they could come. If they needed the nourishment of church, they could come to church. And instead of people going, ooh, you need to take a bath, they would just bring the people in and love and support them. So that legacy of his will continue going forward. So our thoughts and prayers go out to his family, because he was an amazing, amazing man.
And I just remember every year they would interview him on the news around Thanksgiving time, because he would always open up the church for the people
and
that wanted to have meals.
Turkeys, So it's in a time of chaos, he was a part of the calm. And he actually stepped down as the primary church pastor in 2000, but he remained the minister of liberation and the CEO of the Glide Foundation. And that was something he took very personal. Even in his weakened condition, he would still attempt to give. So he was a great man. So as you know, we're spending a lot of time talking about our children and educating them and helping them grow. And last week we started talking a little bit about, seniors, when we go from babies and children to being senior citizens. And we talked about the healthcare system. Now, one of the things that I found very interesting, and we just wanted to spend a few more minutes on to kind of wrap it up, is on average, senior citizens of Latino and Black communities are on at least 4 medications. And you think to yourself, why? So more than half of adults at the age of 65 or older, around 54%, report that they're taking 4 or more prescription drugs, compared to 1/3 of adults 50 to 64 and only 32%, and about 1/10 between the age of 30 and 49. So we know as you progressively age, there will be things that you need to be healthy. However, since my girl is a health coach over here, when I tell Rosetta, if I said to her, my mom's feeling, under the weather and this is how she feels, she would tell me about whole foods or things that she could do, not a prescription. And that's something that it causes me to pause, because while these prescriptions are going out at a high magnitude, most seniors are not taking all these pills because they feel weird. They're like, I don't know what it is, but I don't feel good. So one of the things that I also thought, if you, the legal term, if you are taking more than 5 prescriptions, that is called polypharmacy. Did you know that if you are taking 5, you should go into the pharmacy? If you get your pills at CVS, Walgreens, if you get them at Kaiser, if you get them wherever, you should go in and talk to the local pharmacist and say, I've got these 5 medications. Do they play nice together? Because that's something that a common person will not be able to know based on pills. So I looked into the study. So they recruited 400 underserved older African American adults in South Los Angeles. They did face-to-face interviews. They collected data on the participants, the characteristics of them and what they did and how they did, what kind of jobs they did. Were they stationary all day? Were they more active, etc.? And what they also did is they looked at the types of medications, the frequency, the dosage, and any indications about the medications by participants. They found that 75 and 30% of the participants took at least 5 to 10 medications. This is LA. Now LA is fast, but it's not that fast, okay? They also found that 38% of the participants received prescription medications from at least 3 providers. And what that means is that I go see Dr. Smith on Monday. I go see Dr. Johnson on Wednesday. I go see Dr. Susan on the following week. All of these different individuals don't talk to each other. When you're with me, I'm just focused on, say, your blood pressure. When I'm over here, this doctor's like, I'm just focused on diabetes. And then the other one is, I'm a kidney specialist and I'm just focused on your kidneys. But they all need to talk. And so in this little survey that I checked out, and we'll put the link so you can see it, they showed that a number of providers were the strongest correlations of polypharmacy. Moreover, data showed that gender and inappropriate medication use are other major polypharmacy concerns. So the conclusion of the study showed a high rate of polypharmacy and potentially inappropriate medication use among underserved older African American adults. So 72% of elderly Medicare beneficiaries have at least 2 medications for chronic conditions. 39% suffer from 4 or more chronic conditions, and that's usually diabetes, high blood pressure, hypertension, kidney. I don't know if you've all noticed it, but back in the day, if you had a problem with your kidney, you went to the hospital. Right. Now there's a kidney dialysis center on every corner. They're everywhere. So that was something that was also an aha moment. So a recent study using the National Health and Nutrition Examination Survey, it was from 1988 to 2010, it showed that between 88 and 2010, the median number of prescription medications used among adults aged 65 and older doubled from 2 to 4, and the proportions taking at least 5 medications, tripled from 12.8% to 39%. So there's lots and lots and lots of prescriptions that's going on out there. And Rosetta and I, we were just talking. So we're going to just talk about, like, say, blood pressure. Is it viable for a doctor to expect a person, a senior citizen, who is more stationary, not as active, to have these blood pressures of 127/72 right, without medication? Is that possible? Even if you are eating well, if you are exercising, you have low stress. So my question, and if you know it, we would love for you to share, is there some place that says that a lot of these metrics that the hospitals use, what are they based on? Are they based on a healthy white male athletic, a healthy white female athletic? Are they a hodgepodge, in between, where they take this woman, this man, and they go across all ethnic backgrounds?
Well, funny enough, and what a coincidence,
yes,
is I did some research and I found this little chart that tells you roughly what the standard blood pressure reading should be. And they divide it between men and women,
right,
and by certain age groups. So for women, this is age 18 to 39, women should be 110/68. For men in the same age group, it should be 119/70. And they say that men are usually higher
right,
than women.
A little higher than women.
Then we have the age group 40 to 59. Women should be 122/74. And men should be 124/77. Now, this is where it's a bit skew-whiff on the reading, because 60 years and older says women should be 139/68, but men should be 133/69.
Mm-hmm.
So it should be a bit lower for men after the age of 60.
Right.
Which is kind of odd, because I always thought men was higher than women.
In the other two ratings, they are.
Yes, they are. So this is the chart that I see. Now you can go and do your own research, but I think that this is the chart that I saw in a couple of different places that correlated to the same information. So not sure how the doctors go by their measurements, where they get their measurements from, but because I didn't know, I always thought that it was one number all across the board, for everyone. I didn't know that they categorize between men and women and age groups. So this is a first for me when I did my research. How about you? Did you know?
Yeah. And, you know, one of the things that I had also seen was that the optimal at the age of 18, the fact that it's 120, the top number, and the bottom number is 80. And yet every time we turn around, look at these numbers, 68.
This says 110 over 68.
Yeah.
And for men is 119 over 70.
When you're 40 to 59, they give you 70s, but then once you get to 60, your lower number is supposed to be in the 60s.
Yeah.
That's kind of hard to do without medication. And sometimes when you are meeting with a doctor or a cardiologist, they use these metrics to determine what your blood pressure should be. There's also this condition called white coat syndrome, which I have. I don't like going to the hospital. I don't. I have to be really sick. I have to be like, my doctor calls and threatens me like, you've got a half an hour to get to the hospital or I'm going to send the Fremont police to come get you. I'm like, are you serious? And she goes, try me. And I was like, okay, I'm getting dressed. I'm on my way. So I know that there's some people who are like, oh, I have a hangnail. Let's go to the doctor.
Yes.
I'm a complete opposite. I call my girl and I go, I have a hangnail. Isn't there something I can put on it that will help it heal? So I understand that there's a lot going on in the world. And what we want to do is empower you all to ask the questions. No disrespect to any doctor, but ask the questions. I was watching Good Morning America, and Dr. Jen.
Yes.
Now, Dr. Jen, she was a medical doctor, and then she went and got certified specifically for, like women's health.
Yes.
And health issues and things like that. And she was saying that any cardiologist worth their weight in gold takes the blood pressure on both arms. Have you ever gone to the doctor?
No, they only do it on one arm, and they don't even talk about doing the other arm.
No, and like you're supposed to make sure that the arm is level with the heart. I can't tell you I've done it like that. I've done it lower.
Well, I think most of the time I've gone, I put it on the table.
Yeah.
But one time instead of doing it here, they put the finger in some kind of machine.
Right.
So it's kind of different. Yeah.
So there are lots of different alternatives, and we don't want you to be, classified as a painful patient, but just ask the questions. What is my blood pressure if I just want to be a healthy individual? I'm not trying to be an athlete. I'm not scaling rocks and climbing and all that. I just want to live and have a good life.
Right.
What is a good number? And when you said that, I was like, 139 over 68.
Yeah.
That's a low number. That's 68. That's
Well, that's why. Have you noticed we're talking about seniors getting medicated?
Yes.
So for seniors, if you're not at 139.68, there must be something wrong.
Mm.
So here you go, vicious cycle. It's a catch-22.
Yeah.
Then they're going to think something's wrong. We need to start taking medication.
Yeah.
What's wrong with you? Must be something because you don't fit these numbers.
That's right. And, they start out with a diuretic, water pill. That's the first thing they do because when you go to the doctor, they'll take their thumb and they'll press it into like your leg or your arm, and then they'll see if the groove stays there. If there's no groove, you're not retaining water. If you're retaining water, which is not good for, congestive heart failure, they'll put you on water pill. So if that doesn't help regulate it, then they'll start looking at beta blockers. And if that doesn't work, then they'll do ACE inhibitors. And within each one of those, there are multiple pills. So that's how seniors tickle up so fast, because they don't say, okay, we tried the diuretic, it didn't work. We're not going to do that. We're going to try an ACE inhibitor. No, they say, keep doing the diuretic and we're going to add the ACE inhibitor. And then if that doesn't work, oh, we're going to add the beta blocker. So I've seen some seniors that are just like in a fog. And I'm like, hi, what's wrong with you? I don't feel good. And they can't feel good because they're kind of being over medicated.
Yeah.
And I can't imagine when you have, like they're saying 4 to 5, and if you get to 5, you need to, have a consultation. What about people who are on 12 to 15?
Oh my God, I can't even think about that.
Yeah. And unfortunately, I know, my mom at one point before she passed, she was on 15.
Oh my goodness.
And I had no idea until I went to the pharmacy to pick them up, because they were auto shipping them to the house. And she asked me to buy her one of those little trays.
Yeah, with
Sunday,
all the days.
Monday, Tuesday. Yeah, and I did that. And she would set them up on Sunday. And so whenever I saw her, she would just take her little tray and put them in her hands, and she would take them. But when I picked up 2 shopping bags, because they give her the pills 90 days at a time, I thought, dear God. So I had to, I did the thing they tell you don't do. I went on Medical MD, and I went in and I looked up all the pills, and I saw which pills worked nice together, which pills didn't, and I went with her to her doctor. So if for any reason you're taking a lot of medications, be very careful and just talk to your doctor and go and let your pharmacist tell you, because some of the side effects could be what you're feeling.
Right, exactly. And
So-
you never know until you ask.
Exactly. And we want you to ask those questions. So that's why we wanted to do a little bit more of an extension today about that, because we want to empower you all to be and to feel the best you can feel. Just because you're 65, that's no reason to lay down and, pass out. And I also know that one of I think it was like, I was reading something and it said blood pressure at the age of 70, they recommend that it's kept at 134 over 87. That 133 over 69 is very different, 69 to 87. So you've got some wiggle room. So just, and listen to your gut. If your gut says, then
Yeah, exactly. And you know what? A lot of people I've noticed lately, or the people that are questioning doctors, are actually moving away from conventional doctors and going to more like holistic, naturopaths, homeopathic doctors, functional doctors. Functional meaning they like to they do both the Western medicine and the Eastern, and they actually do more holistic approach, which is what I like.
And they're the best, and that's what I like, because working with them, I feel better. And, I don't want to just be pumping pills for the rest of my life.
Nope.
So that's our little advice there. So, we want to talk a little bit, we talked about, we always like to bring it back to our children. And we went to the opposite end with the seniors, and now we're going to bring it back to our children. Raising children in a fast-paced world of technology and social media, that has to be the most stressful thing on the planet Earth right now, because your children are ramping so fast. I love how people say, oh, I'm never going to let my child have a cell phone. And then 3 weeks later, you see the baby and they got a cell phone. You're like, really? What happened? Oh, they were crying. I was like, give them something else to play with. Give them a toy, But they're trying to not, because you're like, okay, I don't want to put my child in a vacuum. I don't want to isolate them from what's going on in the world, but I want to protect and shield them. And it's a fine line. It's a very fine line.
It is. And I like to see it from this perspective. As a parent, you need to be able to, why are we raising children? So that they can be responsible adults where they can make their own decisions, right decisions. We want them to be able to be self-guiding themselves into the right choices. So what we want to do is not seclude them from everyday news. I know a lot of parents, when kids are born, they're like, I'm not going to let them watch any TV, not going to shield them from all this. They don't need to be, they don't need to know about all the things that's happening in the world. But I think that's a really bad idea.
Yeah, I agree.
I think what you need to do is expose them to these things, but at the same time, you need to be there with them, watching the news or watching a talk show, and explaining to them exactly what's happening, what's the good, what's the bad, why are these people doing this, why are those people doing that, and give them like easy to understand, like what's happening, descriptions of what's happening, so they can understand why this is happening. Like for my son, we told him everything, like when it was election time, like before he could vote, we would tell him, you know, these are the people voting, why do we want, you know, this person versus another person, why don't we want this person? And we always, and it was during that time of the George Floyd and all this stuff, and we exposed him to all that, and we showed him the videos, so he could learn and understand exactly what was happening, instead of saying no, we can't have them, you know, have them exposed to all this like civil unrest and everything. But you know, they're going to learn it one way or another, from their friends or social media. Why not be the parent who teaches them and teaches them what they want to teach them, the correct information?
Because as the parent, you can teach them better. I remember when I told my dad, I said, I'm going to go to the club with the girls. And he goes, you going where? I go to the club. He goes, they sell alcohol? And I was like, yeah. So he, you know, he told me, he says, okay, we're gonna role play. So he says, I want you to sit. I'm sitting at the dining room table, and he was like, hello. I started laughing, and I was like, why are you talking like that? And he goes, So, you know, I laughed, and so, you know, he asked me some questions, and then he goes, would you like to dance? And I was like, I don't know you like that. And he goes, well, get to know me better. So my father was a hoot. So he goes, okay, let's dance. So we get up and we're dancing. And my mom's sitting there, and she's like, you two are too much. And so he started saying, you know, like he asked what I did for a living. You know, he seemed very interested in me. And this is pre all the crazy stuff we got today. And at a certain point, he said, you have a beautiful smile. And I was like, thanks. And he goes, gotcha. I was like, how'd you get me? And he told me. He says, I can ask you anything now and you'll tell me. He goes, you got a little twinkle in your eye. So he told me, and he taught me how when you're out, people say things to get you to do something.
Oh, kind of like to trust them. So they feel this person is okay because they already said they liked my smile.
Right. And they're a nice person. You know, and you know, he was like, can I buy you a drink? You know, are you hungry? You know, he goes, I can have the cook bring you something. I mean, he laid it on thick. And at a certain point I said to him, I said, okay, that's enough. Because I stopped thinking about him as like a dirty old man and started thinking of him as just a nice person. And now with all the stuff in the world, social media, I mean, I know people say, oh, social media isn't evil. Social media is not evil, but social media allows evilness to bubble up. When you have a young daughter, you know, I just showed Rosetta a picture of my niece, and I'm already telling my sister, you're going to have to lock her down because she's 4, but she's an old soul. And so she's very out there and very happy, and I love life. And I'm like, dear God. And she loves technology. She loves an iPad. She loves a cell phone. She can entertain herself for hours, you know. So my sister had to put blocks on it so she couldn't go certain places because, you know, she's a kid and she's watching little animated videos, and all of a sudden somebody's saying, do you want to connect and meet me in the chat room and stuff like that. You have to be so on top of it. And as a parent, you're busy trying to go out and work and make the money to buy the food, come home, cook the food, clean the house, take care of the kids, get them to school, get them to after school programs. You got so much going on, and sometimes you just need a minute and you'll give them the phone just to give them something to do so you can just woosah and take a breath. But you have to still, what you doing, who you talking to.
Yeah. Social
media, and now AI. We were just talking about the recent changes at Facebook, Meta AI. There's just so much going on. And as a parent, I just cannot imagine how difficult it is right now keeping your children safe in a chaotic world.
Exactly. It's not easy. We just have to do the best we can, but be present in your child's life. That's what we all ask. Be present in your child's life. And as we said, what is the goal is to raise productive humans, responsible, productive humans.
Healthy humans that are conscious. And most importantly, teach your children to know the difference between a lie and the truth. This new thing that's going on where people say the sky is green, and they say it so much that people believe it's green, it's a very sad state of affairs. It really is. So try and, set up certain times, like I know a lot of families don't sit down to the table and eat together. Try and at least once or twice a week, sit down and eat and ask your children, how are you doing? How's your day? What's going on in your life? And know what's going on, because the nasty people who are out there on the internet trolling your child, they don't stop. And now they've got AI, they have algorithms. I just heard of someone created a female AI character, and they put it out on social media. She has 5 million followers. Sometimes they have her do good things, and sometimes she swings all the way to the negative.
Oh, wow.
And with 5 million people following this thing that's not even real.
My God.
I know.
Crazy. Yes. I can't even get it. 5 million.
5 million. Yes. So we will continue to bring things to your attention if we hear of them. The most important thing right now is connecting with your child, teaching them right from wrong. And, with my son, it was always about cause and effect. When you do something, if you take an action, what's the effect of that action? And it's like, Mama, I didn't mean that. Well, it doesn't matter. You did it, and now here's the effects of what you did. And if you do it consistent, your children will grow up and they will know right from wrong.
Yeah, because we always say our children are the wave of the future.
Absolutely. Well, the weather is still crazy. This week in the middle of the country, we had more tornadoes. These tornadoes are violent. I mean, when I was a little girl, the tornado would come and the funnel would build and they bounced. So like it could hit here, skip 5 houses, hit the empty space, and it would bounce. Now it's bouncing down on homes and schools and just ripping roof lines off. And the water, the rate of which the rain. Now, somebody said something, and I don't know very much about this. When I was a little girl, if we had drought times, there were Native American Indians, and so they would do the rain dance.
Right, yeah.
And they would get out there, and we as kids, we would dance too. We didn't know what we were doing, but we would just dance, and it would rain, I don't know if that was us or not. They said something that they're seeding the clouds to create rain. And once again, no disrespect, but man needs to stop trying to do stuff like that, because it never turns out the way they expect. You know, it's like the medications we were talking about earlier. There's always side effects. And because they were saying that the rain, like 5 inches of rain in an hour.
Wow.
And it creates waves to where most importantly, do not drive into water. I don't care how deep you think it is, just don't do it. Because you see these people driving into the water, and then it gets up on the side panels of the door. They can't open the door.
And then they're stuck.
And they're stuck. They can't get out. And then they're sitting in there screaming. They call 911 from the phone. Well, there's so many other emergencies. Who knows when that someone's going to get there? And there's the risk that, it can submerge the whole car. And my husband, he tells me all the time, wait until the water, submerges around you. And then once it fills up, then you'll be able to open the door, or you can break a window and get out. Yeah, because the pressure, if the pressure is only on the inside or the outside, it's hard. But if it fills up, you can kick it with your feet and you can get out better than trying to panic. Mm-hmm. I'm like, yeah, easier said than done. But so be careful. Like right now, what was it? Monday we had 84.
Yep.
And then yesterday it dropped. It felt like it was 22. It was so cold outside. And it's kind of cold, overcasty today. So the weather patterns are not normal. We're not having spring, summer, winter, fall. It's different cycles of the weather.
Yep. And it's spring now.
Yes.
Springtime. We should be having spring weather.
Yes. We should all be here in California. It should be sunshiny. We should be out in our little shorts and sandals, and we still have on sweaters because we're cold. So that's kind of what's going on with us. So we are grateful that you come and that you hang out with us. We're very, very grateful. So that's our big points of the day, continuing to be cautious of our children and knowing where your child is at all times and being aware of what's going on with your child. That's important. So here we get to share a little bit. So my name's Gloria Webb Williams. My company is Ancient Stones Nurturing Natural. I'm an all-natural mineral makeup manufacturer here in Santa Clara, California. And we were just talking about social media. So my tip of the day is there is a new term in the world. It's called Sephora Kids.
Sephora Kids.
Sephora Kids. So Sephora, the big company,
yes,
is targeting children.
Right. So
they send out ads specific to them for anti-aging skincare. You're 10. You don't even know what an age is at 10, 12. And so they send this information out, and the children, because they're babies, are begging for this. Some parents are relinquishing control, letting them have it. They buy them this package. This is meant for seniors. So they're getting like exfoliant, so scrubs, where you scrub take out the old dead skin.
So that you can reveal new skin.
Right. Well, they got the new skin. They don't have old dead skin on their face. They're 10 to 12. And then I was looking at the ads. They are like any Sephora kid looking for a new product, come to us. So they're marketing after, and now they're complaining that they're nasty because they're kids. So when they play with stuff in the store, when they're done, they just leave it.
Yeah, so either you want the kids or you don't want them. And Sephora, I think it's more Sephora and Ulta also.
Right.
They have
Ulta
stations where you can sample product.
Right.
Because all the companies that actually sell, the vendors that sell to Sephora and Ulta,
right,
they actually have a kiosk, and you can actually try the products on, because they have a station where there's a mirror and some cotton
they
pads,
have and little Q-tips and swabs, and little the little foundation squares.
Yeah. So do you really think that they're going to keep it that clean?
Yeah. And also, I'm a 10-year-old. I tried it. Ew, I don't like that. If there's not a trash bag right there,
People are just going to leave it
they're
on the
just going
counter.
to leave it and move on.
Yep.
So please do not allow your child under the age of 25 to use exfoliants on their skin, because their skin is still very moist. I mean, it's okay to, if you're going to do a scrub, like my girl here, make your own scrub, and that way you know what it is. But do not use these scrubs to remove layers of dead skin when you're a baby and you don't have dead skin. So that's my tip of the day. Just make sure whatever your children are putting on their face is age appropriate. Gloria Webb Williams, Ancient Stones Nurturing Natural.
Well, thank you, Gloria, for the wonderful makeup tip.
Absolutely.
Health tip as well. And I'm Rosetta Chow, certified health coach, educator, and speaker. And I always say when I'm speaking, I'm always educating.
Yes.
So my tip of the day is, it's talking about overall health and how to prevent. So what we want is to start early, and prevention. Prevention is a main thing.
Yes.
We're talking about these seniors. How can we prevent them from getting to that stage?
Yes.
Well, they're at that stage now. But what can we do as early as possible to prevent? I like to talk about health as being something that is holistic.
Yes.
Get away from those drugs.
Yes.
So what can we do to help our bodies holistically?
Yes.
What things can we put in our body that is healthful to our body and will give us that protection we need?
Yes.
So it's not just about exercising. Yes, we need to exercise. We need to get there and do physical activity. It's always important that we do physical activity.
Absolutely.
We have to remember the things that we need to put in our body is what we ingest, the foods that we eat.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very important to know the source of where your food is coming from. I always talk about this, it's a big thing. Yes, you can eat your fruits and veggies. Everybody talks about that. I like to go deeper into that, but we don't have all the time in the world today.
Right.
So I'm just going to talk about eat your fruits and veggies, but remember, where is the source of your food coming from? And I'm talking about when you go to the supermarket.
Yes.
What foods should you eat that are going to be healthy for you, that aren't riddled with toxins?
Yes.
So the source of food is important, like the growers. Are the farmers using pesticides, toxins, chemicals, sprays, fungicides, herbicides? You have all these different sprays, and they're all under the category of chemicals. And the reason why a lot of farmers, they use these sprays is because they don't want the bugs to eat their crop, because they want to be able to sell it to the supermarkets and the stores.
And some of us are so snooty, if there's little holes in the leaves, we won't buy it.
Right, exactly. So imagine the farmers are spraying, trying to kill off those bugs, right?
Right.
What is going to happen when you ingest these foods that have been sprayed by the chemicals that are there to kill the bugs?
Exactly.
It doesn't matter how much you wash them. They're in there because they're in the soil, they're on the leaves. I mean, you can try and wash them. Yes, you can do that. But what you can do is to be, like, most importantly, you go to the supermarket, you know which foods to buy organic and which foods to buy conventional.
Yes.
And there's a list called the Dirty Dozen and Clean 15 list.
Yes.
And you can find that by Googling it. Every year, there's a company called environmentalworkinggroup.org, and they have a list every year that they come up with. A group of environmentalists, they do research, and they come up with the top 12 Dirty Dozen of the products that you must buy organic because they're highly sprayed, and it goes in order of which one is sprayed the most. Strawberries is usually on top, and every year they may keep it or change a little bit. And this year I found out that 2023 they put green beans on the list. That wasn't on the list. In the past there was no kale or spinach. And they started putting kale and spinach on in the previous past
and
years.
they're higher on the list than you
Yes,
would think.
yes. And hot peppers is on the list. But the ones that you can save a bit of money and conventional are usually a lot of the ones that have skin on them, like avocados, corn, pineapple, mangoes. But remember, corn, you must buy non-GMO because a lot of corn crop is GMO, which means it's genetically modified in the lab.
It's not really corn.
And they spray it with glyphosate, which is glyphosate is the number one ingredient in Roundup.
Can you imagine?
So, yeah, exactly. So look it up. Dirty Dozen, Clean 15. Arm yourself when you go to the grocery store so you know the source of where the food is coming from. Very important. And there you have it. Rosetta Chow, Simply Health, your health matters.
That's perfect, because I don't know if any of you travel outside of the United States. However, if you've ever gone anywhere, the food tastes so much better. And that's something that we want, and that's our prayer for the world. The United States used to be very clean conscious when it came to food and nutrition. And, you know, I'm always talking about how my grandmother would make us go and pick foods. And I was like, oh my God, why can't we just go to the grocery store? And she'd be like, because you need to know where your food comes from.
Exactly.
And that's the part that's going on right now. I believe that is a major contributor to our seniors, because when you get older, you're on a fixed income. You can't go buy Wagyu beef, so you have to buy something else. And you don't know, like I always, grass-fed, range-free, and with the eggs, cage-free. Because, you know, the bird flu is out there, and you all just need to be aware of that. And now it's getting into the dairy cows. I don't know what that's going to mean to a dairy cow.
Yeah.
So we just want to empower you with good information. So we thank you very much for allowing us to spend some time with you again today. We want you to know that we feel the love that you share with us, and we send it back to you, bubbling over. And we want you to have a fabulous, great day.
Yes, we do. Thank you so much. And if you liked this chat, we would love for you to hit the thumb icon, consider subscribing if you haven't already, and hit the bell notification. There you have it. And we were loving our tea.
Yes, it's really good today.
Yes, it is. And we are Silicon Valley girls, chat over tea.
And remember to always keep smiling. Bye.
Take care.